So it's been 52 hours, or a little over 2 days, since I first got my hands on Samsung's Galaxy A52, one of Samsung's latest smartphones, which packs a lot of features for a more reasonable price. In this video, I want to talk to you about the experiences I've had with the A52 after a weekend of personal use, and share some insight on whether or not the A52 could be the next phone for you or a loved one. Let's get started. Starting with price. At the time of this video, the Galaxy A52 is currently around $370, depending on where you live and which configuration you get. Prices are constantly changing on Samsung phones in general, so be sure to check out the links in the description for the most up-to-date pricing. In exchange for that price, you are getting a lot of features which we'll cover throughout this video, in addition to a few goodies in the box like a USB Type-A to Type-C charging cable, a 15-watt charging brick, a SIM ejection tool, and your usual paperwork, which immediately gets filed to the side. Samsung decided to take away the complimentary case and earbuds given to us last year with the A51, so you'll be on your own for those accessories moving forward. Upon immediate inspection out of the packaging, I could tell right away that this A52 definitely has a nice new modern look to it, and it looks drastically different compared to the previous generation A51. Design isn't the only difference though, as the A52 got a little chubbier with its increased battery size of 4,500 mAh and overall got a bit larger. Taking a closer look at the A52, we have two holes on the top, one being a mic, and the other is to eject the SIM card tray, which also has a micro SD card for additional storage should you need that. The right side has your standard power and volume rockers, and on the bottom is the beloved headphone jack, another mic, a Type-C port, and the bottom firing speaker, which, good news, isn't the only speaker on this phone, as there is a second speaker built into the top of the phone. More on that dual speaker setup later. The screen is the star of the show here, which is 6.5 inches in size, but more importantly packs a 1080p resolution with a 90 Hz refresh rate, in addition to being a Super AMOLED display for very vibrant colors, deep blacks, and overall an excellent viewing experience. The screen is bright enough to be seen in direct sunlight, and after watching at least 10 hours of YouTube in the past 52 hours, I can confidently say I am enjoying this display just as much as any other displays Samsung packs into their premium phone options, which cost 2 to 3 times as much as this A52. The A52 also received a lot of upgrades and features which previously could only be found on more expensive Samsung phones, like the smoother refresh rate of the screen I just mentioned, an upgraded processor, faster charging speeds, that dual speaker setup, and a certified water and dust resistance rating, which came in handy this weekend when I was stuck in the rain on multiple occasions. All of these upgrades are immediate improvements that I've been able to take advantage of and thoroughly enjoy within just the first couple days of usage. With that said, what has actual day-to-day usage been like on the A52? Before getting my A52, I had been using the Galaxy S21 Ultra for the past couple of months, Samsung's latest $1,000 flagship phone, and my experience with the A52 honestly hasn't been all that much different. This isn't a comparison video by any means, but I am simply letting you know that in my personal usage, and most likely in the use case of the average viewer watching this video, you are getting a ton of features for a fraction of the cost. The biggest difference I noticed was in the build materials of the phones, as the A52 opts for an entirely plastic build. While this may come up as a potential issue or downside when you go to watch other reviews on this A52, the reality is that 95% of people put a case on their phone anyways, so it's not something the average person is going to care about or notice. What I have noticed though is how well this A52 performs on a daily basis. The Snapdragon 720G processor is powerful enough to allow you to enjoy the 90 Hz refresh rate display as intended, and more importantly, handle the basic tasks you perform on your phone every day. Unlocking and getting into the phone is quick and accurate, whether you are using the in-display fingerprint reader or the face recognition. Navigating through the phone and scrolling through social media is nice and smooth. Watching YouTube has been enjoyable with that dual speaker setup that sounds pretty good and gets pretty loud. Again, I cannot stress enough how excited I am to have dual speakers on this phone, and text messaging and phone calls have been fine as well. Initial battery testing has shown me that a full day of usage is possible regardless of how much you use your phone, and I am very happy that this phone can charge at 25 watts, although you will need to buy a separate charger to take advantage of this. I had the chance to test out the cameras a little bit in the past couple of days, and initially I am pretty happy with the results. I thought the 32 megapixel selfie camera looked pretty good, and the 64 megapixel primary lens also took nice shots. Video looked pretty good and seemed relatively stable. A video test on the Galaxy A52. This is in 1080p 60 with a lot of wind, a lot of noises going on, but just a quick sample of the video quality you can expect on the Galaxy A52. Ultra wide and 2x zoom options are available here, but zooming into the 4x and 10x looked pretty grainy. I thought the depth sensor does a good job of focusing on subjects and gives a nice amount of blur to everything else in the picture. And the macro lens for close-up shots is good as long as you have sufficient lighting. I also think the camera module itself has a nice look on this phone. The camera bump doesn't stick out too far from the phone, and overall I feel comfortable recommending these cameras for the average user as they have initially gotten the job done for me. So, after 52 hours of personal usage with the Galaxy A52, my final verdict is this. I am really optimistic about what is being offered in this phone for its price. If you are struggling with figuring out what phone you should get next or what phone you should get for a loved one, I think this phone is going to be an easy recommendation. If I was able to find a lot of enjoyment in using this phone in just a couple of days, then I am confident it will be the same case for you. With that said, there are still some unanswered questions I have, like how well the battery holds up in long-term usage, how well do the cameras perform in a variety of settings, and how this A52 stacks up against other affordable Samsung phones. But what are your initial thoughts on the Galaxy A52? Are you considering getting this phone? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more from me regarding this phone or anything related to Samsung products, then please consider subscribing to the Shane Symonds YouTube channel today, as only about 3.6% of my viewers are actually subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.